Hey besties, hey! So tomorrow I'm getting a BBL Tracy. BBL Tracy. That was very dramatic. I wish. No, I'm not getting a BBL. I am getting my surgery to remove my 5 babies. And I don't know, I feel like people sometimes like nervous, or I don't think the nerves have kicked in yet. I feel like in my mind this is one of those things that just has to get done. So actually before that I was very nervous about like the idea of surgery, and I was really afraid, and I was like, oh no, I don't want to do it. I need to find any other solution but surgery. Take it from the top. So yeah, after I got my ultrasound and everything, I was trying to figure out how can I reduce this, how can I shrink this, everything, trying all the diets and all of those things. But then it just didn't work. Weirdly enough, my stomach wasn't getting bigger, like the size of my waist wasn't increasing, but in my mind, because I kept measuring it, but in my mind it just looked bigger, like my stomach just looked bigger. So I was like, oh my god, this thing is growing, it's growing bigger and bigger. But actually when I went to have it checked, I think I got it checked again perhaps 2 weeks ago, turns out that the biggest one was actually smaller by like a centimeter or so. I don't know the exact measurements, but before it was like 11.2 something or 12.2 something, and now it's gone down to like 10 point something. But then I calculated it with ChatGPT, and I was like, okay, it took about 8 months or so for it to shrink to this size. If the biggest one needs to shrink completely with everything that I'm doing, this would take about 3 years. 3 years of my life just dealing and struggling with this. I don't think I can do it anymore. If it's already like 11 centimeters, it means I've been suffering with this for like a while and I just didn't know. So I'm like, yeah, it's got to go. Got to go! Ah! Also, like for me, I really struggled with accepting that I needed to get surgery. And I think one of the things that made me finally come to the decision and say, okay, I'll get it done is I think I sort of scared myself into getting it done. I watched lots of videos of people who got it done. I watched lots of videos of people who were afraid to get it done. Lots of videos of people who got it done and they were like, oh no, it's better if you don't do it. There's these alternatives instead. I watched lots of those videos actually. But then what I came to realize after watching all of those videos of the people who were like, no, don't get it done, I regret doing my surgery and all of this, is that at the end of the video, they were selling something.
20% off tender endings with discount code.
You can use my referral code.
Oh, you have to buy my herbal tea and buy this tea and do all of this and all of that. And I was just like, oh, this is just ridiculous. I posted it on TikTok as well, and I got a few comments from different people, and they were like, you should try Ceylon tea. And because I've been to Sri Lanka, Ceylon tea is just tea. There's nothing that makes it special. Not that Sri Lankan tea is not special, but it's just tea. I think the only difference between Kenyan tea and Sri Lankan tea is just the way that we harvest the leaves. In Sri Lanka, they roll the leaves instead of cutting it, and I think in Kenya we cut it instead. So it's just the way that they roll the leaves. That's all that changes it, but in the end, it's just tea. And I mean, of course, I'm not saying that these things don't help, but if they do help, it's very slow, very gradual. And of course this is like an alternative, like people will tell you, okay, stop drinking coffee, have green tea instead. So yes, so this is like, I guess you could say, one of those alternatives, but this is not something that's going to cure your fibroids. Like if anybody's trying to sell you something, oh, this is the cure, this is the ultimate cure, I don't want to say they're lying, but I mean, if it's at a certain size, it's best just to go to a doctor.
Back to regular programming.
Another thing that made me come to the decision of just getting the surgery instead of trying to rely on like all of these teas and all of these crazy things, because I really did try, and some of them tasted really gross. I watched videos of people who got it done, and I think I watched this one video by this one girl. She's in North America. I can't remember if she's in Canada or the US, but she's in North America, and she also had very big fibroids, and she had like a picture on the side. Trigger warning, they chopped up, when like to take it out, they chopped it up into pieces, and it just looked like a kilo of meat. Like, so she had like this picture of like just her fibroids just piled up, and it was like adding up to like 1 kg. So she mentioned the idea that she let her body suffer for so long, like thinking back to that she could have just been relieved of the symptoms earlier, and she was like, the idea that she let herself suffer for 2 years is crazy to her. Like, she thinks back and she's like, why did I let myself suffer for that long? So yeah, so I was watching that, and she said that she was terrified, and I'm not gonna lie, I was terrified. I was like, I will try anything. If you tell me I have to go to the moon and come back, I would have done it all, because I was just so terrified, and I was like, oh, I don't want to get it done, and I was like really afraid. And then I read, because I also read like all the horror stories, I wanted to know like what's the worst that could happen, what's the best that could happen, you know? It's like, will they find gold in there? I don't want to suffer for longer, so I should just get it done. And then also, I recently went bridal shopping, and I was trying on all of these dresses, and I just kept, I don't know, I just looked, I felt like I didn't feel like I was in my body. And even just like bridal shopping aside, I'm wearing my clothes, but I was not feeling like I'm in my body. I felt like I'm in somebody else's body, or like I don't know, I just didn't feel one with my body, and I really want to feel one with my body again. Like, I want to look at myself and be like, this is me, this is my vessel of being on this earth. So yeah, just so I could feel like one with my body again, feel one with myself again, and also just so I can feel whole. Like, I was just thinking back again to Sri Lanka when I hiked Adam's Peak, and it's a pilgrimage. So it's a pilgrimage site in Sri Lanka, and I mentioned how all of these like old people were just passing me. That's how much out of breath I was. And to think that I was like going all of these places, doing all of these things, and my hemoglobin was at like 8. Yo. Yo, that's like dangerously low. That's super dangerously low. Like, even for surgery, you can't get surgery if your hemoglobin is that low. But even still, even if I decided back then, oh, I'm gonna do the surgery, my blood was so little that it would not have been enough. I still had to build it up. So, you know, I slowly built it up by, you know, taking iron tablets. And then there's, of course, this medicine that I had to take during my cycle, just so the flow is light. But knowing that I don't have to worry about this anymore, I'm like, whooped. I guess the only thing is just a scar, but you know, it happens. And I think another thing that made me, you know, come to the decision, and I'm like, I'm gonna get it done. I was just thinking, I'm like, so many babies are born every single day. Lots of people have to get C-sections done. These women, like, they did it. They got the C-section, and then they had to take care of a baby after. I just have to take care of me. All I'm going to do is play Candy Crush. I think I mentioned before that I joined some forums. I joined lots of forums. I joined a forum that's like specifically to Kenya, and then I also joined another forum that's like global, and this is on Facebook, and people are asking questions, and I was answering questions, and people were sharing their fears and the different procedures and everything that they went through. And I think just like reading other people's perspectives, learning, watching vlogs, I think I've spent hours on this. At this point, no, I was gonna be like, at this point I can be a doctor. No. Nope.
I need a doctor. Is there a doctor?
Picking a doctor. So I settled on the third doctor that I visited. So the first doctor that I went to, I don't know if I mentioned how she was just like, girl, we're gonna cut you open, and there's this and this procedure, but you know, sometimes the doctors are lazy and they'll just take it out. No, thanks. I didn't have a lot of confidence in her, and also because she wasn't a surgeon so I was thinking I prefer to speak to someone who's actually doing the procedure rather than someone who is like, okay, did this, and then I refer you to this person, right? So nah, on to the next one. So then I went to see another doctor, and he had like okay-ish reviews, so I was like, yeah, I'll go with this one. So I went to this guy's office, and it's crazy because he was also very expensive. He was more expensive than the doctor I finally settled for. And so I get to his office, and it was the strangest thing because there was just this gigantic photo of like him and one of the Kenyan presidents. So he had like this, and he was receiving an award or something, and that was like printed huge. And then in another wall of the, you know, the waiting area, he had like all of these certificates that he'd won, and it was like the whole wall was just like filled with like all of these different awards. And I was like, I mean, sure, you know, good for you, but I don't know. I was just like, it felt to me like he was very much trying to prove something and trying to like show like, look how great I am. And then so when I actually got to see the doctor, he was very expensive, by the way. So we were discussing different options, and then so he said laparoscopy is possible, but then he looked at me and he's like, I don't think you can pay for it. Sorry, what? Excuse who? Are you calling me a pavo?
You're poor.
Firstly, okay, we'll get to the insurance thing later on, but what? And he's like, oh, so I've done laparoscopy for the daughter of somebody important, and this girl had like a 32 centimeter fibroid, and I got laparoscopy, and it just takes lots of time, and you know, for the theater, you have to pay like every 15 minutes, that's how you pay for theater, so I think for you, I think I can just do a quick myectomy, it's just like about 1 hour, and you're done. And I was just like, I don't know, I felt like he was treating me like a cash cow almost, like it's just like a who, okay, next, you know, and then after that you can just wait like 6 months and then you can have a child and then the fibroids will stop growing. If you're trying to tell me just to have children as a preventative method for the future, like how many children can I have? Because yes, fibroids do come back. So I'd ask him, okay, how many surgeries can one person take? And he was like, oh, you can even have like 10. 10? I mean, maybe 10 is possible, but like just thinking logically, I'm like, I don't know if the human body can like withstand, like the uterus can withstand that much like scarring and just like so yeah, I was like, nope. So the doctor that I did actually find, like he gets so insanely busy that you have to like book him. I mean, for Kenya, I mean, I guess in other countries you have to book doctors like way in advance, but for Kenya it's not very common that you have to book a doctor like 6 weeks in advance. But yes, for this doctor I had to book an appointment 6 weeks 6 weeks in advance. And then so like when I traveled, came back, I was like, okay, this is the day I'm gonna see the doctor. So went in, and I think I was also just mentally prepared. I was like, yeah, I need to get the surgery done. But you know, went in, spoke to him, and like one of my best friends came with me, and you know, we asked lots of questions and everything. And so yeah, getting it done. And now I think because I was like, I'm gonna get this done, I have done so much shopping. I have to sleep soon, but quick haul of the stuff that I bought. And surprisingly, I got clothes in Carrefour. I went to a few stores. I think I went to LC Waikiki, and I also went to Woolworths, and I went to, what's the other one, Mr. Price. But I don't know, I didn't really find like the loungewear sort of vibe I was looking for. I did find like bits and pieces in LC Waikiki though. So I got these free flowing pants. I think for after, these will be great. These are the best prints I could find. The other prints were pajama shorts. Carrefour actually had a lot. I got some granny panties. I will not show you those. This beautiful pink blanket. How cute is this? It's like a dusty pink, millennial pink blanket. I like the color. And I also got sanitary pads. Apparently sometimes you need them. Before I continue, another thing that you need is you just need to find your people. You need to find like supportive people that are around you. Like my friends have just been so helpful. Like, oh, so sweet. Like a lot of them volunteered because the surgery will be super early tomorrow. A lot of them volunteered. They're like, oh, I'll come take you. And I'm like, oh, you people love me this much. You'll wake up at 3 a.m.
I feel so good, so loved.
Without everyone's support, it would be so difficult. So just having like support around me has just like been so amazing. And actually, speaking of that, my friends who are not even in the country, they sent me a gift. I haven't opened it yet. Let's see. Let's unravel her. No way. I went to so many different shops trying to look for a diffuser. This is just what I needed. Oh, I'm so excited. This is so cool. And I think there's also some essential oils inside. Oh, this is perfect. This is perfect. This is so perfect. So when I'm back, this is Bay. Oh, from LC Waikiki, I just got these socks but this is not necessarily for the surgery. I got this Barbie tee. I thought this was cute, and I think when I'm recovering I will want to wear this and just be pink and Barbie. And then I got these pants, and they have like an elastic band, so I think these will be great. And they're high-waisted, but they're also flared, so it's still a little bit of style. They didn't have the exact matching top, but I just got this this top to go with it. So I think when I leave, this is what I could wear. Also went to Miniso. I got this, but this is just in general just to organize everything. I just want to pre-organize stuff that I'll need later. Fun pink socks, hair tie, and most importantly, oh, it's so far, but like I got a 2-meter long cable just so that when later on if I need to charge my phone and everything, it's easy. I don't need to struggle that much. But anyway, let me get ready for tomorrow and get ready for bed. I will talk to you guys later. I'm just appreciating my beautiful flowers.
I'm true to the beat. It's high fidelity. Call it stereo.
Okay, today is day 6 and I've just completed 4,000 steps, 4,600 steps. So I don't think I'm doing too bad.
Chasing Captain Jack. Hey, you can take everything else away from me.
Oh. Okay, I'm sad. Hey besties! It's been 6 days since I had the open myectomy and I just wanted to give you a little bit of a short update. Actually, I think this is the first time I've been alone since a little bit in hospital, but at home since the surgery. But yeah, it just feels like it's not too bad. So let me start with how the surgery went. So it was last week on Wednesday, the 23rd of October, and it started off well. I had to go to the hospital really early. I made sure when I was booking, I said I want to be the first person there, and I also wanted to make sure that the doctor was well rested. So fortunately Monday was a holiday and I was like, Tuesday he only does consultations, Wednesday I want to be the first person there. I had to get to the hospital at 4 a.m. for pre-op, and Tuesday the previous day I also had to go over for just pre-op, and they were just checking my blood pressure and my vitals and everything, and blood tests I had already done the previous week, and fortunately my HB level was already up to 12, so I was good to go. Got there at 4 a.m. and unfortunately I had my friends there. It was really nice. Like, I guess going to the hospital and then just knowing and looking forward to seeing the people that are there for you, I think that was really exciting. I just went in with like a very calm, just have to get this done sort of mentality, and I was really scared before. I'd mentioned did the pre-op and then they wheeled me in. I guess the moment where you're being wheeled, because they wheel you backwards almost, you're just like, okay, this is it, and you can't change your mind. I'm like, oh no, it's too late, it's done, can't change your mind. And then it just all happened so quickly. Okay, we're gonna give you the anesthesia, and I was like, okay. And then the last thing I remember is just them putting a needle in my arm, and then boop, I was gone. I need to wake up, it's over. It was just really quick. So I remember waking up and I was like, huh? And then I remember being so thirsty. I've never been so thirsty in my life.
Water, please keep water.
No, I wasn't hungry, but I was really thirsty. I was like, water. Firstly, they don't let you eat. The last meal I had was at 8 p.m. the previous day, and then the operation started at 6 a.m. and I think it went for about 2.5 hours, if I'm not mistaken. But also I was very cold. I've never felt so cold in my life. I was like, cold, and they're trying to give me oxygen and everything, and I'm just like I know what's happening, I'm cold. And then I remember I kept asking the nurses if they sing. I'm like, do you sing? They're like, no. Do you sing? No.
Soft kitty, warm kitty, little ball of fur.
I think I was in the post-op for maybe about an hour when they were warming me up and everything and checking my vitals. And then also I remember having to like move beds. I had to move to another bed, and I didn't know how, so I just wiggled like a worm. And then later I had to move to my other bed. Again, wiggle like a worm. And then when they wheeled me back, I was like, they see me rolling. Because what else are you supposed to sing when you're, rolling on the bed? And then there I just remember, having my friends there, and it was just really nice, and they were super supportive, and they sat there with me throughout the day, you know, just kept taking turns, kept checking up on me, brought me lots of flowers and plants and teddy bears. It was just nice. And I also made sure to choose a bed near the window because I don't know, I felt like, you know, like you want to see the sunlight, you want to see outside. I can't imagine like just being in a room and then there's no sunlight, there's no curtain. I can imagine how sad and depressing that could be. So I was really happy with the bed I chose. So the first day I had to wear is it called a catheter? They didn't let me have any water and I was so thirsty. Water until about 1:30 p.m. Is when they started giving me water, and I wanted to see, am I gonna, you know, is it gonna stay down or what's gonna happen? So when they saw, okay, she can keep the water down, they then brought me food. Oh, that was good. So I just had a little bit of soup. And what else did they give me? I remember just having, I think I took pictures of like all my meals, so I'll post this somewhere here. So just having a little bit of food, and yeah, and now still, and then I think by about 5 or 6 p.m. they were like, okay girl, we're gonna go for a walk. So they just took me for a few laps around the hospital, but it was walking very, very slow. Like this is the speed, very slow. And of course I needed some support to be able to walk. Before going into surgery, I also had to put on some compression socks. And then yes, after surgery, I was still wearing them for the first day. So on the second day, they took out the catheter, I forget the word, but they took it out, and then I also took out the compression socks, and then they took me for a shower, so I was able to shower. But fortunately the pasta that they put on top was completely waterproof, so I didn't have to worry about that. The part that's a little bit difficult is getting up and sitting down. Like you need to make sure that they put the bed low enough that you can then go on your side, and then is when you can then lift your body up. But then with the hospital beds, it's super easy because you can just like move up, and it just makes it easier. Yes, and the food also at the hospital was really great. I was expecting like nasty hospital food, but it wasn't. They had food from Sarova Stanley, so I was eating well. I was eating really well. Didn't eat that much. I wasn't that hungry. There was moments where my friends was there, and the nurse came in, and then they were just caught like food in mouth.
Caught you red-handed!
But the nurses didn't say anything, but yeah. And the nurses at the hospital were all so super, super nice. I was gonna say super nice. They were all really nice, super like friendly, and you know, they came in ever so often to check on me, and when they would change shifts, they would also come and say, oh hi, this is my name and everything, and I was so happy. I'm like, I feel comfortable. And the doctor, of course, was coming in to check on me and everything. And I remember asking, I was like, okay, do I still have everything? How did everything go? And then they mentioned, but I still have to wait for the results, that they did see tiny specks, but they need to check if it's endometriosis or not. So they're going to check on that. But, you know, they managed to get everything out. I think there were 10 from the picture. I'm not sure. I have to look at the picture again. They have to like send me the photos so I can have a look at how many they were specifically, but they were big. Like one of them was really big, the others were smaller, but the big one was big, so big. And it's interesting because coming home I've been like measuring my stomach to see, has it gotten smaller, but I think because of, you know, the incision and everything, it's still a bit inflamed. But I'm sure it'll go down, you know, within the next couple of weeks. I did weigh myself. I'm so curious to see if they weighed the fibroids themselves, but I did weigh myself. So before I left, I was 64.9 kgs. And then after I got home, 3.9 kgs. So I literally lost a kg. And I was like, I wonder.
My lord. I wonder.
Something that I didn't know about, but I think people should. I don't know. I feel like if I say this, it scares people, but it's not that. It's bad, but it's not that bad. But then because they put something in your throat to help you breathe during the operation, I think a few days or like a day after, my throat was starting to feel very irritated. I needed to cough, and coughing was that was painful. That was so painful, and I didn't know what to do. And I remember trying to sit up, trying to clear my throat, going just, you know, trying to clear my throat, doing everything so my throat doesn't, you know, feel irritated. And I remember I I kept having to ask the nurses, I'm like, please bring me warm water, please bring me hot chocolate, please bring me strepsils, anything, so my throat can be better. If you press against, the incision, if you hold it tight, and then also if you hold a pillow on top, it makes coughing so much easier because then it just reduces the pressure. So I was like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. But coughing, nobody prepares you for that. It felt like somebody was like stabbing me. And in terms of pain, because I'm sure people are curious about the pain, so after the operation, I can say before they gave me more, the good stuff, to make the pain go away, it almost felt like very painful cramps. That's what I can describe it as. It felt like very painful cramps, but then once they gave me the good stuff, I didn't really feel much. And even today, I think today is day 6, and I think there's some medicines that I've stopped because they're finished, and I don't think I feel much pain. Also, interestingly enough, the doctors, when the doctor came to see me, and also the nurses were like, you don't look like you have had major abdominal surgery. I'm like, thanks. We stay fabulous. But yeah, I think I might have been pretty exhausted and everything, but I was just like, just trying to have a positive vibe. I think that helped quite a bit, just trying to be positive and to be happy and just looking forward to, I'm like, when can I wear an innie binny top? Innie binny. I'm like, I'm gonna give away all of my long tops. I'll just be wearing crop tops from now on. Got home, and then my friends, it's so wonderful. One of my friends even sent a chef over to come and cook, so I have like meal prep for the whole week, so I don't have to worry about like what I'm gonna eat and everything. Another friend also made some really delicious pasta and came over, watched movies, and I think just having people around helps so much. There's moments I was going just in and out of sleep when I was still in hospital, and my friends were there, and that was really nice. And there's someone working from there and everything, and it was just nice, I think, having people there. And I think at first I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna tell people, because I don't know, I felt like I didn't want to burden people almost. I was like, I don't want to burden people with my problems. But then just thinking about it, that's what friends are for, and I'm like, I would do the same thing for anyone in a heartbeat. I just felt so loved, and I think just so hopeful that it just also just put my spirits up as well, and it just made me look forward to healing and just getting back into the world and just having my life back. I'm like not being so tired anymore. So I think it's been all right. I think I'm glad I got it over and done with. I'm glad that I was in a peaceful state of mind. It was just been so incredible, and I was just feeling so blessed and feeling so lucky. Well, I will update you later again. Bye.